Hey guys, I'm back again with another video. So I am wondering, how am I gonna do this? First of all, hello, not a drop of makeup. And my hair and the light, everything is just wrong. Um, First of all, I can't really have my window open or the curtains open because right now, because my dogs love to go up to the deck, and if they see that it's open, they're gonna be, if they can see into my room, they're gonna be crying and it's gonna be a mess. So yeah, and I don't know if you guys just saw that the light just flickered a bit. That's what's been happening lately. But yeah, no makeup, hair's a mess, light is horrible. Why is my chest red? A lot is going on. But if you guys already saw the title, you guys know what this video is about. And this is gonna bother me so much, but it's going to be basically what's been requested a lot since I even announced anything. So it's gonna be a two-part video, guys. The first part, which is this one, is explaining the breakup with my ex-boyfriend. Yeah. And just for the heck of it, so the second part I look better. And if you're doing my makeup, very simple. It's not even going to be anything major or anything, but so I still have somewhat of sunlight, somewhat coming in through the cracks of the curtains. Yeah. So we're going to be doing that. And I'm gonna try my best not to make this as long, but I'm already like 2 minutes into this video, and I've been talking nonsense. But I'm also gonna try to make this as short as I can, and I can't really talk entirely about the whole situation. Like, I can tell you guys, I'm gonna tell you guys what happened in my side, but obviously I can't speak on my ex's side, except for what he told me, like what he said he was feeling and everything. And yeah, we're gonna do that. So let's get started with this, and I'm gonna pick up my hair or something because this is too much for me. Anyhow, let's go to do that. Okay, still looking crappy, but let's start from the beginning. So if you guys didn't know, I dated someone for over 3 years. You guys might or might have not known, probably. If you guys are new to my channel, then you guys didn't know. If you guys already been seeing my videos, you guys know I was dating someone for over 3 years. I'll be real with you guys, I was really in love and all that. But the thing is that stuff started to become different, if that makes any sense. Things were just not being the way they were in the beginning, which that makes sense. Every relationship has a situation like that where it's not what people call the honeymoon stage anymore. So I didn't really think much of that until what started happening later on. So me and my boyfriend were active, and if you guys know what that means, then good. If not, well, we had sex, guys. And in my opinion, our relationship was becoming just that. That is not the reason why we broke up, but this is gonna fall into the reason why I started dating someone so soon. After 2 years or so, our relationship, not just the sexual part or anything, but it just started to become not much of a relationship anymore. It almost felt like a routine. You know, it wasn't what it was at one point, where we would be so excited to see each other. He would wake up earlier than usual to come see me at school because I was usually at school early. It wasn't just that anymore. We would hardly see each other. I don't want to say it was his fault. I just think that things happen. Our relationship just wasn't what it was in the beginning. So after that, we started actually having somewhat little more fights than usual. We used to be that type of couple that never fought, like, ever. If we ever had any disagreement or whatnot, we would solve it immediately in that moment, and it would be the end of that. But we started to actually get into more fights. I started to get more insecure. Well, I started always asking if he wanted to break up with me. And that is something, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I am very anxious. So I overthink a lot. So that is a common thing in a way. I'm always gonna think that one way or another, but most of the times it passes, right? It's not something as important anymore. With him it was different. It wasn't a I was insecure at the beginning of the relationship and then it was all good. I was insecure all the time. No matter what he would do. And I'm pretty sure that the insecurity came also from the fact that, as I mentioned, this is the sexual side of us, that it was all we ever did. And even going out on dates or something, he would make up a way to take me back to his house or just do something, which is not much like he forced me. It just became that for us. It was something that we would both enjoy, but it was just that. Well, that is pretty much the harsh side of things. There is much more that was into that, but this is my side where I can say that this is why it was so easy to, I wouldn't say get over him, but move on, because there was so much that I was just not on, well, I wasn't happy with, and being out of that relationship actually made me open my eyes into seeing different stuff. Now, with the whole breakup, because this is what a lot of people wanted to know, what the hell happened. So what happened? What ended up happening, we were actually pretty good, or at least in my opinion, we were doing pretty good. It was the beginning of December, I believe the first week or so of December, and for some reason, I think my mom was taking my brother to school. During those days, I think my dad was out on a trip or something. I don't remember exactly why my mom was taking my brother to school, but the fact is we were taking my brother to school. Why you dare honk? Why? Sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that, but someone just honked outside. So, we were out, whatever, and usually when my mom takes my brother to school and I go with her, we usually end up going to the mall or something. Whenever I was over there, I would always let him know if I was going to be longer or whatnot so we could see each other. Because, we hardly ever saw each other, which was one of his reasons of why he decided to break up. Because we didn't see each other as often. Well, I told him I was at the mall, and if he wanted to come, he should, because I was going to be here for a bit, or there. And he said yes, and the messages from that day, if I can actually go back, but I don't think so, they were so normal. He messaged me with mi amor, which was what he called me sometimes. I love you. Everything just seemed perfect. Like nothing was off or wrong. Well, that was not what I was planning on doing. And get there, and once he got there, he asked me where I was. He got to the store I was, and when he got there, he was off. Like you could tell something was wrong, something was going on. He said hi to my mom. So I said hi to my mom, and that's when the weird thing started to happen. Because I was happy to see him. I was excited to see him. I hadn't seen him in a bit. A week or so? 2 weeks? Something like that. And I ran up to hug him. I gave him a hug, and I gave him a kiss. And that's where the first red flag came up, right? The kiss was so awkward. excuse me. Um, it was almost like he did not want to kiss me. Like it was so forced, and it was just a peck, but you could tell it was forced. I'm like, what's wrong? And he said nothing, and I said, oh, you're still sick, because usually when he was sick, he didn't want to give me a kiss or anything. You're still sick, I asked him, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You know, trying to play it off in my head, like there's nothing going on. He was super off. I would be holding his hand, and his hand would be shaking, like not shaking like uncontrollably or anything. It was like he was holding my hand. This is his hand, by the way. And he would just do this. Like he was nervous almost. I don't know. Again, seemed kind of off, but I was telling myself that nothing was wrong. Like, it's all in your head, Alexis. I asked him again, are you sure you're okay? He said yes. Like, okay. It was the third time I asked when he said no. We were at another store, and I remember asking, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And he didn't answer. He kind of just like nodded a little bit, and I turned, and the moment I turn away, he grabs my shoulder and turns me back to him. And he just looks at me, and he's super, super serious, and I'm like, oh God. Like I could already feel the blood drop, right? Like that feeling where you go cold, like, oh my God, like you know something bad is gonna happen. And I remember saying that this is not easy and something like that, right? He looked sick, as I said. And he said, I think we should break up. And I kid you not, it was like a movie for me, because I kind of didn't hear it at first very well. And then I asked him again, like, what? And he said, I think we should break up. And then I said, okay, let's go outside, because I said, we're not going to be having this discussion inside the store. So I told him, let's go outside. We started talking about it, and I'm like, why? What do you mean you want to break up, right? And his explanation that he gave me in that moment was that he felt like we weren't progressing in our relationship. Our relationship was stuck in high school. And I said, well, yeah, but I get that in a way, because I also kind of felt that way. I'm like, but what do you mean? And he's like, well, I miss you a lot, and I can't see you as often, and the only way I could feel better if we move together, but that's not going to happen another 3-4 years, is what he told me. And I said, you don't know that. You don't know when we can move in together, when anything would happen. Like, that's why you have to have patience in a relationship. And I basically tried to explain to him, like, you don't have to break up. Like, just think of the future. Don't think of right now. Think of the future. Like, if you want to be with me, then it's something that we're going to have to deal with. We can't just move in together just because you miss me too much. I told him, I don't work, you barely have a job, you know, I was telling him all these things, and then he's like, I just miss you too much. And after we had that discussion, I didn't cry in front of him. I did start to tear up a little bit, but I didn't cry until I left. Then I just told him, you know, I don't give second chances, so are you sure this is what you want to do? And he said yes. And I said, fine, we're done. Then I went to look at my mom. My mom wasn't at Target. She was at some other store at this point, and she wasn't answering her calls. And I was like, where the fuck is she? Like, I want to go. I want to leave, right? And finally I got her, blah, blah. She asked me what's up. I told her everything, right? I told my friends. Everyone hated him in that instant. Then I told my friends, you know, about what he told me, and they all, even my cousin and my mom, I think my aunt as well, they all basically said, that is BS. He did not break up with you because of that. That is one of the most stupidest reasons. And they meant the whole missing thing, because that's what he made it seem like. Not what he made it seem, that is what he said. He basically said, I miss you too much, and I don't want to be missing you this much. And they said that is stupid, because he knew what he was signing up for. We've been together for 3 years. He wasn't going to break up just because of that after 3 years. So they basically told me he has another reason. So you better find out or just accept what he told you. Once I calmed down, I messaged him and I told him, you know what, tell me exactly what is the real reason. And he wasn't telling me. Then I got home and I told him, you know what, I'm home. We got to talk about this. Like it wasn't for him to give me another, for me to give him another chance. Basically, it wasn't for that. I just wanted to know exactly what the hell was going on. Then he called me, we talked, we both cried. He cried a lot, I remember. And he basically told me that in reality, he didn't want to break up. He wanted to be on a break. Which I thought was a bit off because I'm like, you said more than once that it was a breakup. And he's like, yeah, but I was nervous. And, he basically said that in the moment he got so pressured that that's what came out instead of what he wanted to say. I said, well, it's done what's done, right? And he said, but I do want to be on a break if you would accept that, basically. And I said I would think about it. And I told him, I'm going to tell you tomorrow if we can talk tomorrow, if you can. And he said yes. So he ended up calling me and we talked, and that's when I agreed to be on a break. I said, after an hour or so of talking, I said, fine, we're going to be on a break. The first red flag, that I should have seen was his conditions. So, when you're on a break, it basically means you're single. Excuse me, sorry, I've been drinking soda and anyhow. So, that when you're on a break, usually it's distance from each other, but it's a break. It's not a break up. It means that eventually you're going to get back together. It's just a break at the moment. That was the thing. But he said, we're single, but I can be with anyone and he can be with anyone, right? Fine, fair. He ended up telling me the real reason why he broke up with me, which wasn't really missing, was actually because he was stressing. He said that I actually had nothing to do with the whole breakup, that it was just him, that he needed some time for himself to manage his time and everything because he was stressing a lot and he didn't want to bring me in the middle of this. So I said, fine, right? Like, it makes sense. You're taking way too many classes. You're all day at school. Plus, you have your job. Plus, you want to work out. And plus, you want some free time for yourself and to have a girlfriend, which makes sense. You just need to manage it, right? That's why I agreed on a break. Then, I kid you not, probably a day or two later, he's out with his friends at a casino at 1 a.m. 1 a.m., something like that. Well, he was at a casino. I don't know if he was still there at 1 a.m., but he posted a snap at 1 a.m. that he was still with his friends, which was kind of annoying because I'm like, okay, so you don't have time for your girlfriend, but you have time to be out with your friends. And it started happening very constantly where he was out with his friends all the time. And it would really, really bug me. So I'm like, you broke up with me because you wanted time to be able to manage yourself. You didn't want to bring me in the middle of this because you wouldn't be able to give me time. But you have time for other stuff, right? So I was a bit bugged, but I said, fine, right? Like, I can deal with this. During this time, this is where someone else comes along. The guy I am actually dating now. He comes along, but he's a friend. I'm going to explain the whole backstory of my boyfriend and I in part 2. When my boyfriend and I actually met a while back, right? So that's why I already had him on Snapchat and everything. And he messages me one day just because of a comment that I wanted to cut my hair. And we started talking, and we were talking as friends. Like, we were talking about anime and our likes and stuff, but never he was hitting on me or anything. It was just because I started mentioning that I also like anime. I'm like, really? Which animes do you like? Like, I like these. Have you ever seen this one? It's a really good. We were recommending animes. Like, we were just talking as friends. I did not think I was going to date him. I never even thought I was even going to like him. Not because he's unattractive or anything, because in my opinion, he's attractive. I'm sorry. I just thought to myself, I was in a 3-year relationship. I'm not going to be able to fall for anyone else this soon. Which obviously happened. But during this time, I started to realize what I was wrong in my relationship. And there was a lot wrong, as I mentioned in the beginning, a lot of our relationship was only sexual. Like, our conversations were just that, and it was always. So that was one bad thing as well. We couldn't actually maintain a conversation anymore, and again, we didn't see each other. Like, I was seeing all these things now, and then a lot of other little things started to come up between us. He would try to talk to me every single day, and I said this week. I actually ended up saying, we can't do this, because if we're just talking every day, then what's the point of being on a break? Because we're still talking to each other every day. If you can talk to me like this, then why can't you talk to me as your girlfriend? Like, what the hell? So I agreed. Not agreed. I had him agree that we were going to talk, if anything, once every week or once every 2 weeks. I remember exactly what I had said. But I told him, if you do need anything, like if you're struggling with something, you need someone to talk to, you can come to me. But just, we can't really be talking like we did before, like every day, trying to at least. And he agreed. He was okay. As the weeks passed, keep in mind I was talking every single day with my current boyfriend. As my ex-boyfriend would message me every now and then, right? And we would talk, but we would always be talking about the break. And little by little, he started making comments like he doesn't know what he feels, he doesn't know what he wants, like stuff like that, right? When in the beginning, he said he loved me. The last comment that he made that really made me realize that this is not good for me is when I told him, when are you going to be ready? Like, when you said I wasn't the reason for this, when are you going to be ready to accept that we're in a relationship? And he said that part of him told him that he didn't know what he felt towards me. I said, but you said you loved me. What do you mean you don't know what you feel? And he said that part of him loves me and another part doesn't know. And that's the thing that just killed me. I'm like, you broke up with me saying that you loved me, that you wanted to be with me, but you just needed time to realize how you're going to manage your time, your schedule, and everything. Now you're telling me that you don't know how you feel. So I thought for 2 weeks or so, I think it was about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I gave myself some time to think about him and I. He didn't know what he wanted, and I was starting to realize what I wanted in this relationship, and it was for me to not be with him. And after talking with friends, my parents, other family members, they basically all told me that it was not a good idea to be with him, basically. So I agreed. And so I thought about it and decided to tell him. I told him one day, we need to talk. Can you call me? And he was at work, and he said that he was at work and he couldn't at the moment, but once he was home, he could. And I said, do you know what I want to talk about? And he said, that you found someone. I'm like, no, not that. Like, that you don't want to be on a break anymore. I'm like, yes. And I said, but I want to tell you everything, how I'm feeling, everything, explain to you why I don't want this anymore. And he said, fine. He said he was very, very mad. But the good thing is that I told him in that moment so he could actually clear his mind and, relax a bit, if that makes any sense. And a week or so before that, this was the beginning of January. A week or so before that, my current boyfriend actually, I just hit the table, sorry. My current boyfriend asked me out on a date, and he said that he wanted to get to know me better, in person. We hadn't seen each other for a while. We weren't really friends beforehand, so he wanted to see me. And I said, I don't know, it's gonna be weird. I didn't want to admit that I started to develop somewhat feelings for him, and not strong feelings. It was just like, I think he's cute. He's super nice. He's super sweet with me, like stuff like that, right? I started to like him. I didn't want to admit that. And so he said, we should get to know each other better, see each other in person. So that was also something that I told my ex-boyfriend when we spoke. We talked. I told him what I was feeling, why I had made the decision, and I told him about the date. I told him I've been talking to this guy. I told him that he asked me on a date, that the next weekend I was gonna go on a date with him just to get to know you, kind of thing. Not planning on dating him or anything. Like, in my head, I was still not planning on doing that. And he said he understood that he wanted me to be happy. And that was pretty much the last time we actually spoke about something related to our break. Currently, we've seen each other some days at school and something like that. We sometimes talk, but we're still good friends. Like, the thing is that we ended up in such good terms that we remain friends. Yeah, it's that. So this is the ending for part 1, which is basically that whole. I'm sorry this video is extremely long. If you made it this far, I am so thankful. And I'm really hopeful that part 2 is not going to be as long, because it's not a lot that has happened, but a lot of people do want to know about my current boyfriend. But there's a lot more who wanted to know about oldies. So yeah, just go to part 2, and if you guys want to know about my current boyfriend. If not, really hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, I'll see you guys in that next video.